Sorry everyone. Sorry. Oh God. Right.
Alright.
Yeah. You ready, Ava?
I'm ready.
Good morning, Harris Academy. My name is Mr. Doherty and I'm joined by my co-presenter,
El Rico.
We are here for our weekly ramble of jogging around the world. That was a big entrance, wasn't it, sir?
Yeah.
I had to get rushed in by security. Good job we had them.
Yeah. We're lucky. Yeah. It's this fame. This week's been mad.
Mad. Why are we famous?
Well, let me just start off how the week's gone. I met with the President of the United States yesterday.
Yeah.
Right, he's showing us how to spread more world news.
Yeah.
And how to do it impartially and how to just inform children of geographical events.
Well, globally.
Yeah, globally. Yeah. We had a DM from KSI.
Did you?
Yeah, he wants us to. He wants Prime sponsors.
Yep.
Right, but they're in a bit of battle with Jimmy's Coffee at the moment. So
Yeah, I think we're still with Jimmy's Coffee.
Yeah,
We don't need Prime, do we?
No. What's in
And what does apparently Jake Paul wants to fight you as well?
Yeah. So we've got all these things going on, and it's not changed us.
No, not at all.
No,
I
we're
am still humble.
Yeah. Just legally changed my name to El Rico now, for copyright purposes. But yeah, why are we so famous now, sir?
Well, just because 12,000 views on TikTok or something like that. I don't know. Is that right, producer Ava?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
12,000. Loads of comments.
Loads of comments.
Yeah.
The odd one had to be deleted, but we won't mention that. How many followers have we got now?
I can tell you exactly.
It's in the 400s, I think, isn't it?
442. With one video, that's quite good.
That is very good.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So basically, that's
So
just.
thank you to the stranger who's working the TikTok and putting it out for us.
Yeah.
Trying to keep that as
Anonymous.
Under wraps
as anonymous as possible.
Because it is not us, and we will not follow you because we don't follow anyone.
And yeah, we don't follow anyone at all.
Right.
No
Okay,
strangers.
so good morning, Mr. Rickenberg. Good morning, Ava, to our producer.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Holding on for dear life.
Yeah, it's the fame. I know you're getting swept away as well.
Yeah, and we can only apologise.
Yeah, just roll with it. Yeah, it's all good.
I'll tell you what's in our cup, shall we?
Yep.
We have got, what is it, Kenko, isn't it? Yeah, posh stuff.
Pop the obviously.
Yeah, the Prime Minister of Brazil sent us something. So yeah, thank you. And yeah, just Kenko. You've got no sugar. You've got a little couple of granules that's fell in.
Little bit of sugar.
Yeah, tiny little bit of sugar, and I've got 2 sugars.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, so a bit of milk.
Bit of milk.
Yeah, I'm stuck now. I've had the black coffee for ages.
Right, so we'll start.
Ava, we've forgotten Ava's drink.
I have got
Yes.
Ava's drink.
What did you get?
It's a Don Simon again.
Don Simon.
Yeah, he sent it to me personally as well.
Yeah,
So,
but it's up in the office, so we do apologise.
We do apologise. We'll start off with our usual shout outs.
Shout out today. So our first shout out today for directed time last night, mate. Miss Braggins. We every Thursday we do directed time. So we do staff training, CPD. Of course, it's continual professional development, right? And we cover all range of topics. But last night, Miss Braggins did it on sort of how to speak properly, wasn't it? How to encourage young people to speak properly. Obviously, where we live in the world, for our listeners, we are from Essex, in case you didn't know. And there is a bit of a problem in Essex, I would say, of people not pronouncing their T's.
Yes.
I think we all have, we're all, what's the word I'm looking for?
We're all guilty of it.
We're all guilty of it, aren't we? And we'd like to drop a T and people say, well, it's because of where I'm from. But there are no excuses.
Yeah, I think it's good to just shine a light on it because I think that we didn't really realise it and we are modelling excellence, trying to model excellence to the kids as well. And she said it in the right. She said it in the right way. She said one thing that really sort of resonated with me, and it was when she said if they might say something to you, but in an interview scenario they've just lost a job.
Yeah, that was what was really important. Is that when you go into a job interview, it's like you might have the qualifications, you might have the CV, you might look the part, but you can lose that job as soon as you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And then what was the statistic that they said? It was in 2006, but it was like 76% of employers who were surveyed said that they had not given someone a job because of how they speak.
Yep.
Which is a pretty insane statistic. And you're up against these private school kids, grammar school kids, which we constantly tell our students that that's who you're competing with, whether you like it or not. That's who you're competing with.
Absolutely.
And then that other statistic that 7% of adults in the UK go to private school, and then it was like 70% of judges go to private school. So 70% of people in these high profile jobs.
So it's 70%, and they've come from that 7%.
Yeah. So it just shows that. So we just want you to compete, and if it means speaking properly when you have to, you don't have to speak properly all the time.
Yeah.
But if you can turn it on and be a chameleon, as she said, it was just amazing.
Yeah,
And we had to stand up in front of everyone, didn't we? And practice speaking properly and pronouncing our words properly.
Literally how we had to do it as well.
Yeah, it was good fun. So well done, Miss Braggins. That was great. Who else?
I want to shout out the year 12s, the helpers, for open evening. A very successful open evening. It's so nice to see so many Hatch students interested in A-level geography, and we got loads of people turning up from our school who said we want to do it, and we want to do A-level geography, and we want to do it here.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. So I want to shout out Emily.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Ramar. I want to shout out Eshka, and I want to shout out Carmen, who all helped out in open evening for us, because we had a really successful evening.
Amazing. And then just the whole open evening team, sixth form team, they did well.
It was very, very successful.
And all the teachers that stayed behind to help.
Yeah. And finally, shout out to our lovely producer Ava,
Yep.
who is helping us branch out.
Yeah. If to be honest with you, we probably wouldn't be this famous if it wasn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to thank you. The podcast got so much better with you in it, Ava.
Yeah.
Just waiting for my first paycheck.
Yeah. We wait for ours as well.
This is the problem with famous. You don't know when the money's coming. So let's get into today then. What are we discussing?
We are discussing, if I can remember where I put it, must be with all the wads of cash shut up now. We are talking about Belfast. Though.
Right, Belfast. Why have we decided today to do Belfast?
We have decided because we have chosen to change our case study in Year 11. In the topic of UK 21st century, we decided to change our case study from Oxford to Belfast.
Right, and do you know what? I'm all for it.
Yeah, it was Miss Duffy's idea, so shout out to Miss Duffy.
Was it?
There.
Right, wicked.
So an economic hub, first of all, is an area where economic activity in a specific industry is sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, like concentrated.
Yeah.
Right, so somewhere like Oxford, for example, that was the quaternary sector.
Yeah.
Right, so they do a lot of research around the university and stuff. But we're talking about Belfast because it's a really clear difference between why it was important in the past and why it's important today. Right? So we're going to start off with a helpful notes of talking about the economic changes in Belfast. So as someone who sort of lived, obviously your roots are very near Northern Ireland and near Belfast.
Yeah.
What was Belfast like in the past?
Well, we'll go to the shipbuilding first, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
It was a massive industrial city, big port, and they built a very, very famous ship in Belfast, which is the Titanic.
Yeah, which is Titanic.
So that is, because you can't read.
No, I can read. It's actually making me read easier, but we're jokes over now.
Yeah. Right.
So they started off shipbuilding, right?
Yeah.
There's a group called Harland and Wolff. They built Titanic.
Yeah.
I've been to the Titanic Museum.
Yeah.
Right. And Mr. Petchy there.
Just ignore him.
Just ignore him. I think he wants one of us for a second. But Belfast was a powerhouse of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Right. What? Can you go talk to him quickly? And I'll come back to this. Right. So Harland and Wolff shipyard was employed over 35,000 people. Right. And at its peak, and it built some of the biggest ships in the world. It was basically the powerhouse. It built the most famous ship in the world, which was the Titanic. The Titanic unfortunately sank, so it might not have been that good. But that was the main thing it was for. It was a Dockland area, the Belfast, and as a result of that, it built a lot of ships and stuff like that. So that's why it was majorly famous, because of the shipbuilding, because of the Titanic.
Yeah, brilliant.
So how has that changed since then, sir?
So after that, the shipbuilding probably left. The city went into probably decline.
Yeah.
There would have been a lot of social issues, and then if we look into sort of what's happened in Ireland over that sort of period of time, was the Troubles.
Yeah.
There was a lot of what you'd call sectarian violence between the Catholics and the Protestants. If you go to the city, there is quite literally a wall.
Yeah,
it's called the Peace Wall, but it separates the city in half. The Catholics live one side, the Protestants live the other side.
Yeah.
And due to that, there's been a lot of social issues in Belfast, a lot of rioting, a lot of violence. And it all stems from the sectarian violence that's happened. I was listening to that Kneecap group the other week, and they were talking about the rave scene and how there's a quote in it from a film, how like the clubbing scene in Belfast basically just helped these young people get over that. And the quote was, the society's been poisoned by sectarian violence all their lives. So it's pretty brutal over there. Yeah, it's a lot of trouble, but fingers crossed now the city's starting to move in a direction.
Yeah, we had things such as the Good Friday Agreement,
yep,
which paved the way for the end of the Troubles, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
It, yeah.
If you want to get a good idea of what sort of Northern Ireland was like, I will shout out Derry Girls because it's a great programme.
Great programme, yeah.
And it does take in these sort of issues that we're talking about here.
The kids were really surprised that I watched it because the main girl from Derry Girls, I think she's from Belfast. Yeah. But that's why my mum left and why my two uncles left. They moved from Derry back over to England because they were like, you're sort of limited for choice. You either stay as a civilian, risk your life, join a movement, or flee. My mum was on the Bloody Sunday March in Derry. She was on that march with my auntie. They were there that day. So it's pretty raw over there still, and it wasn't even that long ago. No, really like my brother can remember being over there and playing football out in the street and British soldiers walking past. They would kick the ball around army soldiers, just patrolling the streets. It's crazy, But Derry Girls is a good one to watch if you want to sort of get a bit of history. Yeah,
since we have seen some level of peace in Northern Ireland, the economies have shifted. Yeah. Right, so now they've got a service-based economy. Right? Belfast, what a place to go and visit! Really, it's so cool. Yeah, I went there in the winter last year around New Year's, and it was brilliant. Now the biggest industries in Belfast are things such as financial services, IT. It says tourism and creative industries. One of the biggest things they've got is tech. Yeah. Right. So it says here, it's named one of the top 10 tech cities in the UK. Over 1,200 tech employees in companies employing 27,000 people. And one of the things that Belfast is particularly known for now, and the whole of Northern Ireland is, and Ireland is as general, is Titanic Studios. Yeah. Because Titanic Studios is the studios that film Game of Thrones.
Mate, and how big is Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones is huge, and it's increased tourism in Northern Ireland because of how many places around Ireland
it was filmed. Go and visit, like the King's Road. There's part of that's filmed in Ireland as well, and the beautiful scenery. But going back to the sort of service industry, there's a huge push in Belfast at the minute of like the food scene as well, like really, really high end, cool restaurants. A guy from Belfast won the Great British Menu, I think, and then opened a real, I think it might even have a Michelin star restaurant in Belfast. And then I was reading something about it where Irish chefs, because there wasn't much happening when we were talking about, maybe the part of Northern Ireland wasn't doing as well as it could. There's a lot of unemployment. It's quite a tough place to grow up. A lot of the chefs left, went around the world, learned how to cook, and then they've come back. And if you think about how good Irish produce is, the vegetables, the meat, the beef, and stuff like that, and then what they've started doing, and Irish comfort food is the best. So they've started opening these restaurants based on that. So it's a really happening place. It's cool.
So what we need to move on from is the economic changes. We've done that. So shipbuilding, secondary sector in the early 1900s, moving into the tertiary sector and the quaternary sector. Now we need to talk about how significant Belfast is regionally, so to Northern Ireland, and then nationally to the UK. Right. So for Northern Ireland, so regionally important, it has 90,000 people employed in Belfast, accounting to 1/3 of Northern Ireland's workforce. Right. Great stat. Population growth, it's got 343,000 people living in there, living in Belfast, so it's a significant part of Northern Ireland's population. And we've got Queen's University, big Belfast, massive university. It's ranked in the top 200 globally, which is a lovely stat.
Just when you say regionally, so we mean regionally important to Northern Ireland. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. And then and Ulster University, which I don't think that's in Ireland, isn't it? Or is Ulster in Northern Ireland? Northern Ireland. And Ulster produce 6,000 graduates annually in STEM and business fields, so talking about the tertiary and quaternary sector there again. Interesting, great stats. For the UK, Belfast contributes about 6.8 billion to the UK's economy annually, and that represents 15% of Northern Ireland's GDP as well.
15% of
Northern Ireland's GDP, and it produces 6.8 billion for the UK economy. It's the city's export value, which I think is one of the main reasons it is important to the UK, because it's one of those major ports that we can get goods from around the world in. The city's export value reached 4 billion in 2023, and it's key, and it's a key gateway with markets such as the Republic of Ireland and the USA, stuff like that, and anything else. And Belfast is a UNESCO City of Music.
Yeah,
too right as well. Yeah, when I went into some of those soft drink establishments, the
libraries.
Yeah, the libraries up to the people on guitar, unbelievable.
Amazing, great libraries in Belfast.
Yeah, great libraries in Belfast. Really good geographical books as well.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
One of my favourites, authored by a guy called Arthur Guinness. That's one of my favourite books.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I've read that a few times actually. Okay, so that is just a quick crash course in Belfast.
Yeah.
And just, the reason why we've done it is because we want our year 11s just to be able to listen over to this and get some place-specific detail.
Yeah, and just have it in the bank.
So just quickly recap, the structural economic change, we've gone from secondary, that shipbuilding, that real industry.
Harland and Wolff. That's the information you want. You want stuff like Harland and Wolff. They employed 35,000 people and they built the Titanic.
Right. Then they've gone into that tertiary sector where we talked about like the rise of the restaurants and shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got Titanic Studios making Game of Thrones. That's place-specific detail
media,
as well.
and then now they've gone into... We'll talk about NECAP in a second. Then we've gone into finance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So NECAP, I want to shout NECAP out.
Yeah, you was mingling with some famous people, weren't you?
This is why we didn't do a podcast last week, so I owe an apology. On the way home from NECAP.
If you see any missing posters of Mr. Doherty, he is here and he is fine and well.
I am all good, but my phone managed to reset itself. I fell asleep on the train, missed my alarm had no alarm in the morning.
Yeah, when you woke up, it was technically like 11 PM or something.
Yeah, my phone was wrong, and then missed my lift from Mr. Rickenberg into work in the morning. And but it was all because of this Irish rap group, hip hop group called NECAP. Now they're quite controversial, but what is really interesting is they rap in Gaelic. So a lot of it is in the Irish language. That's why it's really interesting, because they want to push the Irish language because it's a dying language. Now Miss Duffy speaks Irish at home. That is her predominant language, which is really interesting. So she'd actually be able to understand what they say. But yeah, when I went to the gig, Noel Gallagher was there, Paul Weller was there with his whole family, Fontaines of DC were there in front of us. So they've got a massive, massive following. But the guy, what is quite funny is the DJ who actually makes the music and sings over some of the songs, because he was a singer-songwriter. He's from Derry and used to be a teacher.
Oh, really?
That's why he wears a balaclava, so he could hide his identity from his school kids, and then he got found out and lost his job.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so that is NECAP, but they are worth having a look into. It's interesting. Yep. All right.
The news.
Yeah, what's going on in the world?
We haven't thought about this one at all.
No, this week's been mental.
There's a couple of things let's get off the top of my head. Right? Ceasefire in Lebanon and Lebanon. Yeah, so that's good. 60 days. Apparently, it perfectly coincides when Donald Trump takes over. So he's done it for 60 days for the last 60 days. So you say did that. Good news. They have basically wiped Hezbollah off the map. To be fair, Israel. Really? So the pages and the walkie-talkie stuff apparently was very, very successful. Wow. So they took out quite a lot of leaders there, and they're now confident that they don't need to fight that war anymore.
Right.
But they have said, and the US have backed Israel with this, if Hezbollah fire a single bullet, hell to leather.
Really?
Yeah.
We should talk about Storm Bert.
Yes, 2 storms actually. We had Storm Bert over the weekend, which did cause some absolute chaos. Especially, I think it was in Wales.
Wales in the West Country. I've got family in the West Country, and the flooding out the back of their house was bad.
Yeah.
And then, so I was reading about it. Apparently, all of the predicted rainfall for November fell in a day.
Yeah. What was it? The main issue that they had in Wales was that people believed that the Environment Agency should have put out a red warning, but it was just an amber warning. Right. So the winds were kicking up over the weekend. We didn't see any of it. We saw a bit of rain. Some places got doused in snow, but because the temperatures were so warm the next day, it all just melted. That's going to add water to rivers. That's always a concern. And then on Tuesday into Wednesday, we had Storm Connell, named by the Dutch Met Office.
Oh, was that the
Dutch Met Office? And that's what brought all of the rain over, I think, Tuesday night into Wednesday. And it was absolutely pouring down the whole time, Tuesday into Wednesday, all night. And that didn't really cause much issues, but the problem is when you get rainfall like that, it falls on saturated ground, which is a problem.
Yeah. All right. Any other news?
I have a bit of news.
Go on.
I saw this yesterday at my nan's house on the news. There was this ex-soldier who was found guilty of spying for Iran.
Oh, really? Is that the young guy?
Yeah.
He's the one who escaped from Wandsworth Prison under the delivery truck.
That's
remember?
the one.
Seriously?
Do you not remember that story?
I do remember that, but I didn't know he was spying for Iran.
He's been found guilty for spying for Iran. He wanted to become a double agent. He was in the army, then got discharged, I think, and then was in prison on spying charges on remand, I think. Escaped under the delivery truck. Strapped himself.
Did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
He was like, I was under there for a few minutes and I couldn't handle it. He says, God knows how migrants do it across the channel.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Kind of like...
He was like, I didn't know that I would be affecting people as much as I did. He was quite honest about it.
Yeah.
He didn't realise that him leaving would cause as much of a stir as it did.
He broke out of prison. There was another piece. There was a bit of positive geography news actually. Though, did you see they discovered a new coral reef?
No.
It's on the information station in the canteen. For those of you who do read the article, but they discovered a new coral reef out in the Pacific Ocean, and it can live in slightly warmer water, and it's huge. But they didn't know it was there. National Geographic discovered it, and they said it was amazing. The photos of it look wicked.
Yeah.
So that's positive sign.
That is good. I think what we should also do is start a new segment where we start sort of suggesting other things for people to listen to. Right. So we've got our couple of favourite podcasts. So
we shout them out
Teach,
again.
Sleep, Repeat. I'm going to get them to shout me out. I'll write that at one point, right?
Yeah.
Teach, Sleep, Repeat. We've also got the unofficial Teacher's Guidebook.
Yeah.
Right, because a guy called Omar was on that podcast, and his podcast is really good, very short and
Very good book as well. The unofficial teacher's manual, brilliant.
And I am going to shout out a history podcast because I've been addicted to it, which is The Rest Is History. They don't need me; they're the third most listened to podcast on Spotify.
Really?
They don't need me shouting them out, right?
That's good.
But fascinating. That's where I got my hit the fact for you.
Oh, interesting. Right. Because we are a humanities department.
Yes.
We got called humanities, didn't we? Yesterday,
Yeah, we did.
which was quite nice.
Yeah.
We all sat together as well. We offered them biscuits.
They didn't take any, no.
No, fine.
If they don't want biscuits, then I take up biscuits.
Fair
It's
enough.
fine.
Okay, so we've covered quite a lot today, haven't we?
All we've got is fact and weather.
Fact. Go on.
Well,
So who are we shouting out fact?
We're shouting out Nor.
Nor in AM.
What she puts up with, I don't know how she does it.
She's an absolute...
Dylan and Big Driss. Don't know how they do it.
Absolute angel. So Nor, this is your shout out. She's such...
And I will shout out Big Driss because it was his birthday.
Oh
so.
yeah, happy birthday, Big Driss. That's actress. So yeah, Nor, wonderful little Nor in AM. She's just such a good geographer. She's so positive to have around the school, and she came in with this fact. She came to us with it. Now these are the facts that you want. You want to be shouted out?
Yeah.
Come to
us. Yeah.
Right, come on, Mr. Rick.
Right, there are only two countries in Africa that never got colonised during the scramble for Africa.
Yeah.
Right, and those two countries are Ethiopia.
Yep.
And Liberia.
Very good. So that key bit there though is that scramble for Africa.
Yeah.
So say it again one more time.
Only two countries in Africa did not get colonised during the scramble for Africa, and that is Liberia and that is Ethiopia.
Very, very good.
Ethiopia back then was known as Abyssinia.
Yeah.
And then Italy did get its hands on it eventually.
Yeah.
But that is in our, and if you want to know more about Italy's colonisation of Ethiopia, listen to our Ethiopia podcast on Spotify.
We might have to start going around again, won't we?
Maybe.
Okay, very good.
Weather.
What is the weather? Because out there, it's a high pressure system. Clear blue.
there's
The
some
sky
CP
in the
out
morning. Now, yesterday on the AstroTurf,
It looked like Mordor out there this morning.
it was
red.
wicked. Yeah.
It's
It
just...
warms up, I think, doesn't it? It got up to 13 degrees on the weekend.
Does it?
I think so.
According to BBC Weather,
What have we got?
we've got
Cloudy.
Tuesday's looking very clear. No
it?
cloud on Tuesday.
CB's out
What are we
there
saying
today.
for the weekend?
Cloud on Saturday, but like Sir said, 13 degrees.
High 13, low 11.
Sunday, we've got a little drop of rain.
Oh,
Just one
But
drop.
still 13 degrees. Well, it
One
says
drop.
light rain.
Light rain. Do a bit of light rain on my commute back to Mosson.
Oh, yeah. I've got Christian Sunday, so it's
Monday's got a bit of a drizzle.
Hey!
That's what it says, drizzle.
All right, so
Just little drizz.
cloudy Saturday, 13 with a low of 11. All right, well, thank you so much this morning, everyone. Have a lovely weekend, Mr. Wickenberg.
Right, let's go face the music again.
Yeah, God, security, you ready? Because they're all out there.
Right.